Hi there once again. This is Teacher Jerry A. Java for English with Jerry Java, and today we'll be discussing about campus journalism, what specifically it's CDP or the collaborative desktop publishing. We will be having what are the mechanics, what actually happens during the mini press con, and of course the principles of design, and then some do's and don'ts, some tips. Okay. Good morning. Good day. Okay, in the CDP or collaborative desktop publishing, of course, like I said, we'll be talking about the guidelines or the mechanics, who are the participants, how many members, what are required of them, and of course the mini press con, what are the outputs required of them, and then the content, then the criteria for judging. In summary, in a nutshell, the competition in collaborative desktop publishing is designed to encourage teamwork, group work, or unity among campus journalists, and simulate or copy the workplace of an editorial department of a publishing house, printed, not like the online publishing, okay? This is it encourages teamwork because this is a group event, both in elementary and secondary, English and Filipino. Who are the participants? How many are they? Now, each participating school, district, division, or region shall organize a team of actually 7 members or contestants who shall not be competing in any individual contest. These 5, it used to be 7, then during the pandemic, we cut it down to 5, and now we're back after the pandemic, so we're back to 7 members in a team who are not competing in any individual contest or any other group events like online publishing and TV broad and radio broad. Okay, participants must basically possess the character of being confident in their skills, cooperative. Of course, this is a group event. We encourage teamwork, and of course they're curious, like they're going to look for, they should have the nose for news. Okay, what's happening. Participants, we have the 7, okay, not 5 anymore. We have news writer, editorial writer, feature writer, sports writer, photojournalist, layout artist, and then your cartoonist. There you have 7 members in a team. There will be one team for English and another separate team for Filipino, both at the elementary and secondary levels. All contestants are required to attend an orientation before the actual competition. Now, in that orientation, usually the orientation follows maybe after or before the mini press conference, mini press con, which actually usually happens after the opening program. Now, the entire duration of the contest will run for 6 hours, which includes data gathering, layouting, and editing. In the editing part, that's the nitty-gritty, that's the most, and that's a tiring part. Each team will be required to bring 4 laptops, maximum of 4 laptops, installed with either PageMaker or InDesign and Photoshop for the secondary, whereas for elementary, only Microsoft Office Publisher for the elementaries, for them to lay out their group's final output. Now, mobile phones, internet connections are not they are not allowed, okay? It's prohibited. Mobile phones and other electronic gadgets shall not be allowed except for the digital cameras and laptops with disabled, no internet connection, no Wi-Fi. Photojournalists may use either point-and-shoot camera or their DSLR high-end cameras, but it will still be upon the decision of the judges. Now, what to prepare per team? In every team, they must have maximum of 4 laptops, 2 DSLR cameras, 1 flash drive or USB, 1 printer scanner, 1 extension cord, 1 card reader, 1 inkjet paper, writing material, stapler, tape, extension cord, extension wires. It's there. Everything is there. What are the outputs? Each group must produce a 4-page publication or newspaper that contains the following pages. We have the 4 pages. They are required to have, in that 4 or 6 hours, they must be able to produce or print a 4-page newsletter. You have there the news page. That's a front page, news page. Editorial page or opinion page, that's page 2. Features page in page 3, and sports page in the page 4. Okay. Each group will be required to convert or to save their output into PDF or portable data format and submit it to the contest committee or the technical working group. Contestants should ensure that there are no identifying marks containing their school, their names, their district, division, or region for us to avoid bias or prejudices, okay, to maintain the credibility of the contest. The output must be printed in A4 size bond paper, A4. Each page must contain at least 3 articles, okay, 3 articles per page in the news, opinion page, feature, and sports. The tip there is that you just write one quite long article and the other 2 will be really short articles, so that you not run out of space and not run out of time. There must be at least 12 stories in the entire 4-page publication. Now, what are the common problems? Because of this, you are only given 4 to 6 hours, so you lack articles. So you should be, the writer, the contestant, the participant must be a wide reader and a wide listener, a really good note taker during the mini press con. Stories are very shallow, and also some stories are not connected to the theme or to the group's theme, or some details are invented which are not really factual or which did not come from the mini press con, from the answers, interviews of the guests, invited guests during the mini press con. Contestants are not aware of the rules, so they get lost. Some of them even get disqualified. Okay. Also, lacking articles, I'd like to add number 1 there is they lack time. They needed more time. The 6 hours, 4 hours is over, but then it's not enough for them. So there are blank pages, empty pages. Now, what do you do at the mini press con? At the mini press conference, the mini press con is really very essential for you to have your entries or contents there, what you write, what to include in your newspaper, in your 4-page newsletter or publication. So you have to listen well and, of course, interact and ask questions. This serves as the mini press con serves as one of the most vital role in the contest itself. Why? Because this serves as the basis of your content. It will serve as a basis for the actual writing of editorial, feature, and news articles. Now, what about sports? For sports, they will be either shown a video of any sports event, highlights of a sports event, or they will be told to watch, observe an actual game, exhibition game, along with the individual sports writers and the collab and radio broad writers, and then the online pub and TV broad. Okay. There are also instances that sports writers watch, this is what I said, an actual game or play. This will be their basis in writing their articles. So since this is a press con, there must also be questions, okay? Usually the mini press con will run about 15 to 30 minutes. It depends with the facilitator. Usually myself, I am always, in our division schools press conference, I am always tasked or assigned to be the facilitator or moderator during the mini press con right after the opening program, where the guests are of course, number one guest is the invited guest or speaker is the school's division superintendent. Then there are, of course, PSDS, public schools district supervisors, EPS supervisors, the principal of the host school, like that, okay? And officers, maybe the president of the league of the School Paper Advisors Association and the president of the Elementary and Secondary Campus Editors Guild. So you have to ask questions, quality, sensible, relevant questions. And of course, if you don't want to ask questions because maybe you are shy, but you don't have to be shy, okay? You must be able to write down, take note, listen to the questions, answers. It is the extreme duty of every writer to foster confidence in asking questions from different angles. Otherwise, if you are not going to ask questions, there's nothing you can write there in your 4-page newsletter, in your news, in your editorial opinion. So most of the questions are usually about opinion, but do not also forget to ask feature-driven questions. Ask questions which are answerable by yes or no. Here's a tip. First, to ask questions which are answerable by yes or no for you to have an item or entry in your news page for the content of your news and then editorial. Okay? You can also ask questions, especially for opinion or editorial, about the latest events or issues running in the country, local and national, or even international. What are the ideas? What are the opinions? What's the position of these guests? Okay? Example, will there be an increase in the price of basic commodities this coming rainy season? Of course, it depends on on the set of guests, invited resource persons or guests. According to the secretary, then you are going to make that now into your entry or article. According to the Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, there will be an increase in the price of basic commodities this coming rainy days. Example, here's a question in Filipino. Tumaas po ba ang bahagdan ng mga turistang dumating sa Pilipinas sa nakalipas na 2 taon? Then, you make your article. Ayon sa tagapagsalita ng Department of Tourism, tumaas ang bahagdan ng mga turistang dumating sa Pilipinas sa nakalipas na 2 taon. Because you answer them either with yes, you ask them with either yes or no. Of course, it depends, again, on the work, on the job, on the position of your invited guests. Of course, you cannot ask this about tourism question to a maybe superintendent. They don't have an idea. Maybe they have an idea, but they are not the authority to answer that. So it depends on your set of invited guests or resource persons. Now, what about for the feature? For the feature, actually, as a feature writer in the collab, you should also be knowledgeable of what's happening in the entertainment, anything in the entertainment world. Okay, anything that is about feature. So, like in our Division Schools press conference last 2024 December, there was all 9 questions. I only allowed 10 questions, 10 sensible questions. Almost all of those questions, 9 questions, were talking about politically powered, politically driven opinions, issues, topics. Then there was this one who, I guess she was a feature writer in collab. So she asked about Alden and Katrin Bernardo's latest movie about Hello Love Again. Then there was a giggle in our SDS, in our PSDSs, who answered that. So it's a break from the very serious heavy topics, this feature. Also, that's why the tip is always look for the perfect angle. Actually, with those opinions or ideas stand of those politically driven or questions or answers from the guests, you can actually also look for possible feature angles, dig deeper into those issues, or even in the news, you can go dig deeper and go in depth, and then that will serve as a feature. Now let's talk about layout and page design. Layouting and page design criteria, it's for collaborative, the page design, the art, the aesthetic value, that would be 30%. Okay, layout is one of the greatest fundamentals of page design. In collaborative publishing, it covers almost 30% of the total score, aside from your content. Okay, so because it's the layout, it's the art, it's a design that is first judged, seen, that will have to catch the eye, the attention, that will attract the attention of the judges. So it makes up 30%. Yeah, let's review a little of the elements of a newspaper. As a layout artist, you must know these words or vocabulary, these terms: masthead, flag, folio. It must contain. Your newspaper, newsletter, or publication must have these. Fold, date line, news article, feature article, headlines, banner, photographs, cut lines. Cut lines are actually the caption. Subhead, byline or byliner. The only article, you should know that the only article in your 4-page publication or newspaper, newsletter that has no byline is the editorial. Me as a judge, I always look at that first. Then I have deduction of points if the editorial of the newsletter has a name of the writer. It should have no name. Let's go for technicality. Pull quotes. What are pull quotes? Especially when you run out of space, although white space should come naturally, but if your space is really wide enough or big, huge enough, so you can do some magic. You can have pull quotes. Pull quotes, these are interesting, intriguing part of the article, which are going to pull and then put that in like a bubble or talk balloons, and then make it bigger, have colors on it. So that's a pull quote. Mugshots, pictures, breakout boxes, text or copy or your article. Keep target audience in mind when choosing the type or of course the font size, font style. Generally set body type in 9, 10 or 11 point type. Use 8-point type for captions or caplines, and set headlines in bold. Headlines should be bolder, bigger than the body, than the text. Usually I tell my kids to have 10. Headlines should be, 12 is really so big. Headlines should be in a type most appropriate for the style of document. Remember, you should have different headline styles and font size and font styles in every page. Okay? When you talk about the news page that's formal, then of course, editorial page, that should be also formal and for its masculine type. Then the features page, that's a feminine style. Sports page, more on action. Remember also the case, or keep it short and simple. Edit stories to be as lean, thin, short as possible. For example, if quantitative information will also be published in a graphic, consider dropping the figures from the story. You can use infographics. So the headlines provide a quick summary of a story or event. Call attention on a page to a particular story. Set the tone of how a reader should approach a story. Say what's new about a story. That's your who, what, so what. So what is your angle. Through their size, headlines indicate the story's importance. So that means give information in layers. Headlines, the most important headline or the banner story should be on top. So the photographs rules, photos add emotional depth that is difficult to reproduce in text. There's something with pictures or image. They provide documentary or visual proof for the reader that an event happened. They can help, that's an evidence, that's a proof. They can help to explain a complicated subject. Now, it's a no-no that your page has at least one picture. Now, if you only have one picture, play it big, okay? Other tips on photographs. Don't put a picture at the end of a story. Otherwise, it will not catch any attention. Put pictures level with or above the story beginning. Pictures should be at the start, at the beginning, not at the end of the story. The middle of the column is not, it's a no-no, not a good place for a picture. Otherwise, you would block, you would cut the comprehension, the flow of the story. It is a physical block. Readers may not jump it. If you do put a picture in the middle column, it should be at the top. Pictures from different stories should not be placed right next to each other. Pictures should be beside, close to, next to its related story or article. Otherwise, you're writing about death, and then the picture beside it is about a newborn baby. So that's kind of contradicting, confusing for the readers. Readers, now it's a page design basics. Readers start at the upper left-hand corner. That's how we read, right? From left to right orientation. Read from left to right and turn the page when they reach bottom right-hand corner. So it's A, B, C, D. This pattern is called the reader diagonal, that one. Reader diagonal. It's automatic that we start reading from left going to the right. Left to right. Then we flip the page at the bottom right. That means we are done reading. So we also follow that page designing rule. As to photographs, according to a US study, this has been backed up by research. Readers process photographs 75% of the time. So make sure that every page should have a picture, should have a graphics. Okay? It's a no-no that there's none. Readers process headlines 56% of the time. So make sure your headline is really catchy and attractive. Okay, with colors, make it big. Text is processed only 25% of the time. Usually we only skim and scan through those articles. Usually I, as a reader, I look at the picture, read the captions. Yeah, and headlines only. And should I read the article or the text, only the lead or the first paragraph. Larger text, larger photos attract more readers. Larger, play it big. If you only have one picture, play it big, make it big. Pictures 3 columns or wider are processed 92% of the time when it's more than 3 columns. Mugshots are processed less than half of the time. I don't know why mugshots. Maybe because it's kind of, it has this connotation that it's like a picture when you get caught, when you are supposed to be jailed or put into prison. Mugshots, right? Informational or infographics are read 73% of the time. So make use of these knowledge, of these information. Now, principles of design, please review about this, about balance, harmony, proximity or unity, alignment, repetition or consistency, contrast, Emphasis white space. White space is still very important because that gives room as for our readers to breathe. Then of course movement of the eyes. Still, this is just like photojournalism, especially when you put pictures. The movement of the eyes, the rule of thirds still follows here. Some do's and don'ts. Avoid tombstoning. Tombstoning is putting titles or headlines next to or close to each other side by side. How do you avoid tombstoning? Put one title in a box, make one title maybe bigger, like that. Or set other titles into bold, italics, or underline. Avoid bad breaks, the jumping. See, like, see, see article on page like that. Also, bad break is when you put a picture at the middle. You broke the flow of the comprehension, the reading flow of the reader. Avoid separating related stories and pictures. Avoid putting text on busy pictures. Avoid heavy gray areas. Avoid using small types in long stories. Avoid screaming banner headlines. Banner headlines or screaming headlines, this is the opposite of the, it's a really big title or headline for a not so long, for a short story, for a short article or text. Avoid making the top heavy. Remember balance, harmony. Avoid many headlines of the same size in the same page. Avoid placing small heads on long stories. That's one opposite of banner headlines. Keep your stories to 6 to 10 only. Stories like 6 to 10 paragraphs. White spaces are your friend. So that's it. Thank you so much. Remember those for your collaborative desktop publishing. Bye, bye, bye.